Hey guys, Briggs here, and today I'm coming back at you with another mock video, and we're looking again at our Lion Knights Outpost. You might notice that there are some pretty significant changes since the last episode, and we're going to go over all of those right here. As you can see right here in the foreground, kind of really obstructing a lot of the view, is that tree that is largely Edge of Bricks design from his rebrickable instructions. With some minor modifications so that I didn't have to use as many branches and as many leaves, just because I didn't want to wait to get those parts in, as I have many thousands of these leaves coming, but I felt like there are bigger priorities. As you can see, I originally had the tree over here in this corner. That's where I was talking about putting it, but I switched it to this corner, and honestly, I'm not liking how it came out, mainly due to the fact that it's blocking a lot of the rest of the mock. I guess that, if I took pictures of the mock from this way, it would be okay, but I still don't enjoy that it's, obstructing a lot of the mock if I want to take pictures of it from different angles. That's definitely going to be a consideration heading into the future, whether I want to keep this tree here, but I did at least make it easily removable. As you can see, it's only attached by one stud on the bottom, so I can easily take it out and mess around with the configuration of the larger mock other than that. But as you can see, when I remove that tree, you have a much nicer, easier view of the mock. I've gone around and tried to place the minifigures how I anticipate I'll be placing them once I actually finish all of the building. So as you can see right here, we have kind of like 3 guards at the front. Then I have 2 other guards in the ruins themselves. We have 1 archer right here, and then we have kind of our officer or our main noble. I think that the story that I'm going for in this mock is going to be that we have this figure right here who is going to be a messenger who essentially ran to this mock to deliver them some news, maybe about a war, a battle, or some sort of development from leadership that they need to know. I felt like that was a pretty good story. But in terms of building in the back that we switched, you can see over here, this used to be green. I switched this to the dark tan and brown color just because I felt like it worked better with the rest of the mock. I just kept this corner where the tree was with the green and the large amount of shrubbery, large amount of greenery. Over here, we kind of added the steps leading up, and then we added 2 little pillars right here, just kind of very broken down. They used to be holding some sort of entrance, but they're just meant to represent the pillars. I wasn't planning on building anything behind the pillars. I think that they were just meant to represent here. Something else that I actually tried out, if I can hold this camera with one hand, is I tried using these shield pieces for the first time as floor texturing, and I am not 100% sure how I feel about them. I do think that it gives a nice little like X almost texture in the ground. I think that it's definitely unique, and I think that it might be an interesting texture to try out kind of on a larger scale in maybe like a giant castle hall or a giant, something like a castle hall. I think that's the best description that I can come up with. Maybe on a wall, maybe the outside of the wall could use this, or on kind of some sort of battlement. I don't know how I feel about them there. I might end up changing those, but for now, that's kind of how they are. Another big alteration was I lowered the height of this initial wall over here. I felt like it was just getting a little bit too tall, should I say. I also added a corner right here. As you can see, it kind of wraps around. I did make some small alterations to this front wall right here, as you can see, kind of making it a little bit deeper, but nothing much else. Finally, I kind of raised the ground in the back over here, and that was just kind of necessary to enable minifigs to properly fit on the mock itself. One little posing technique, I guess, that we can go over that I'm pretty proud of, not proud of, but I would like a lot, is actually using this spear like this. If you take out his arm and you just attach to the spear, you can then point it in a very straight direction. Realizing that I could do this, I know it's very simple, but I haven't really, worked with minifigure posing a lot before, so this was honestly a relatively new thing for me to do, to actually take off his arm and pose him like that. I know that I did some of this type of posing in my Civil War mock that I previously uploaded about a week or 2 ago, but this was the first time that I'd done it with kind of medieval equipment. Anyways, that was a long rant for me to get to the point that this gave me a lot of ideas where I want to create a scene after this mock, kind of like the follow-up Lion Knights mock, I think should be a scene where they're getting charged by maybe some Black Falcons or some bandits or something like that. And we have a bunch of Lion Knights spearmen all lined up kind of like this in a row, you know, with their spears pointing out. I think it's a really cool look. And I think that, you know, with, you know, 20 of them all in a row, you know, maybe 2 rows of 10, it would be a really interesting way to present the minifigures. And I think it could essentially bring a lot of life to a future mock. But that's something for the future. I think that it's really, really smart and really, really easy to do. As I said, you know, it's not something crazy. It's not something I invented, but it's the first time I've tried it with a spear, you know, with medieval stuff, and I'm really happy about it. I think the one other thing that I'm definitely considering is creating bows just from regular Lego pieces. You know, I've seen a lot of other medieval builders on YouTube and Instagram use 2 horns of reddish brown color to represent kind of a bow and arrow, because obviously it's a little weird that there's already this arrow right here notched in his bow if he's just holding the bow. So, you know, it naturally, it doesn't really make sense for the arrow to be like this. So I understand why people are going for that 2-horn technique. I think my only qualm with going for that technique is that it makes this bow and arrow a lot smaller just because the horn pieces are very small. So naturally that might require me to do some alterations to my plans. But other than that, I don't think that there's really a lot else to add. If I zoom in, you guys can still see that I am using the Agent Callus face right here for my main dude. I think it's a pretty cool face. I wasn't able to find a hairpiece, if you guys might have noticed, to match his face beard color. I think that it's supposed to match this Lego color, but it obviously doesn't, and just like a regular blonde hairpiece doesn't work either. If you guys have any suggestions for the hairpiece that I should use for this guy in terms of the color, definitely let me know, because I think that beyond this, I'm kind of at a loss as to actually improving this. Other than that, though, I think my biggest question for you guys is whether you think, if I zoom out right here, whether you think I should keep this tree included. So obviously, if I can get it back situated down and we kind of bring it out, you know, it's a rather large, essentially, obstruction for the right side of the mock. Now, I could photograph the mock from this side, you know, kind of show it off from this side, and then it might, you know, it might be less intrusive, but still, I don't know whether I'm entirely pleased with its placement. So definitely, please let me know what you think of this tree. I was considering maybe moving the tree to back here, but that would require a lot of change to kind of what the setup is over here. So I'm not entirely sure whether I want to do that. So I think that will essentially, it'll be a maybe. I think that's a good way to put it. But definitely one way you guys can contribute, as I say for the last time, is to tell me whether you like the tree. Other than that, please let me know if you guys are liking this series. I'm definitely liking doing some more medieval builds, and I definitely want to do a medieval battle build, you know, where I have 2 factions. I think the most obvious one that I can do is Lion Knights versus Black Falcons, so that will probably be, if not the next build, it'll be the second build after my next medieval one. That'll kind of be my planning. But other than that, as always, like, comment, subscribe to the normal stuff, and I will catch you in the next episode.